New games for old systems isn't a new phenomenon. Indie developers have kept long abandoned consoles alive for many years now, and there's so many games that hark back to the glory days of 8 and 16-bit gaming. But what makes Tanglewood kind of special is Matt Phillips' singular determination to be as authentic as possible, coding his first solo game entirely in 68,000 assembler code on an actual Megadrive dev kit. He spent 5 years putting this together, starting as a hobby project before being crowdfunded. In Tanglewood, you play as Nim, a nervous-looking fox looking for a safe place to sleep. Nothing more, nothing less. And you explore each level trying to find puzzles and roll them into holes. Once you've done that, you're able to use their powers briefly to glide in the air, stop time, or be able to ride wild beasts. As soon as you start Tanglewood, you're struck by how sort of familiar it all looks. The visual style reminds me of all those mascot platform games that were big in the 90s. And another thing I really liked about the visuals is how it remains true to the spirit of the Megadrive. Megadrive games, or Genesis if you're in the US, all had a certain style that was close to arcade titles. Its palette was made up of rich, bold colours to catch your eye, just like Golden Age Sega arcade titles such as Golden Axe? After all, the Megadrive was really just a cut down version of their System 16 arcade board. It's nothing short of commendable that Phillips has dedicated himself so thoroughly to recreating the Megadrive as much as he possibly could. There's even a password system for that true retro experience. I've been playing this on the PC and by default it has a nice interlaced filter to recreate that CRT look. The main sprite of Nim is wonderfully animated and constantly wears this wide-eyed, nervous expression. The levels themselves are nicely detailed and the whole thing moves really smoothly at a solid 60 frames per second. There's an interesting use of sound here too. Many platform games on a Mega Drive would have a constant twee soundtrack playing in the background with big, exaggerated sound effects, but here the sound is more subdued and gives the game this quiet, isolated atmosphere. So at once, Tanglewood is both something new and something we've seen before. Phillips has cited games such as Another World and Flashback as inspiration, and there's a dash of Sonic the Hedgehog here too. However, as with all passion projects, Tanglewood could have really benefited from having someone to help guide Matt Phillips along. For one thing, I'm not sure that the cartoony art style is a good fit with this kind of quiet-paced puzzle platformer, especially coming after both Limbo and Inside. And it feels mean-spirited to criticise this aspect of a game, especially when it comes from a small dev team, but there's a lack of polish here that leaves it looking a bit unfinished. There's no warning for when powers are about to run out, no visual feedback or landmarks, and large monsters in particular move really stiffly when compared to the sprite of Nim. The level design is pretty empty and at times it's easy to lose direction. There's no obvious goals or guides to help you get to the destination, and I'd usually find my way through trial and error, at times leaping into the unknown because I couldn't see anything to jump onto. Throughout the game you'll be doing a lot of backtracking, which can get confusing because of the size of each level, and enemy placement seems like it's there to slow you down rather than give you a challenge. Every so often I'd be blindsided by an attack off screen and killed instantly. Thankfully, there's a generous amount of checkpoints that stop this being a real frustration. Another problem that Tanglewood has is that there's already so many retro-style games available like Shovel Knight and Bloodstained Curse of the Moon to choose from, and to be honest, I can't recommend it over those in good faith. Not because Tanglewood is a bad game, far from it, it's just coming into an already crowded field, and to be brutally honest, even when judged against games from the Mega Drive's heyday in the 90s, Tanglewood doesn't really stand out that much. However, it really must be said that what Matt Phillips has achieved here is remarkable. Largely developed by himself and a few contractors, they've really captured the spirit of the platform they're developing for. This is only really his first game, and I don't doubt we'll see something really special from him in time. Tanglewood is a charming title for retro enthusiasts and for those looking for something slower paced and more relaxed. The puzzles aren't obscure, and there's replay value in looking for the 168 fireflies dotted around the game. Also, it's got a cute fox in it, which is nice. Tanglewood is available on Windows, Mac and Linux on Steam and itch.io. You can pre-order an actual physical cartridge for your Mega Drive or Genesis via the Big Evil Corp website, and hopefully soon there'll be a Dreamcast conversion just to round it all off. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.